This video is for educational purposes only. This is Donald Trump explaining to the leaders of the world that the black Israelites are primordial, meaning they are ancient gods and goddesses from the past, and they shall gain their godlike powers back in the future, and they shall judge them. This is what they're afraid of, that the Israelites are going to judge them. And this is what the battle has been about against Satan and Israel, your godlike powers. He defeated Israel temporarily in the ancient world, but God promised him their godlike powers back. God said they took part of the earthly, they shall take part of the heavenly. The Israelites must understand this is about your godlike powers, and that you're going to judge the world. This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump made a video about the 144,000. He said they are black people and they're waking up, and the deep state don't know what's coming. He said they're going to gain their godlike powers back. Like I told you, the leaders of the world know who we are. Donald Trump said they're going to gain their godlike powers back. Do you understand what's happening here? What's going to go on here?
They know that this is God, chosen people, and this is their land. And 144,000 has already been awakened, regaining the memories, and soon to have their powers. This solar flash cabal won't know what to do with them. These are the first fruits. The 144,000 is sealed and awake. I don't think the cabal understand what this means. The chosen ones are already awoke and gaining all their memories. This means that business. They know what's coming. Just picture this. 144,000 black people with superpower godlike abilities. Me and Putin try to warn them we're dealing with something we don't quite understand. They are ancient gods, primordial.
This is a painting of an angel from the ancient world. Look at his garments. Look at his wings. He has wings. He's wearing a cape. He's wearing a garment with studs on it. And he's wearing those high boots. That type of dress code is called the glorious warlike apparel. And look at the boots he's wearing. He's wearing those high boots because that style of dressing was a style of nobility. The angels is noble. So he came in the appearance of a nobleman with the high boots, with the cape on, and with a garment with studs on it. And if you look at a lot of those pictures that you're going to be looking at tonight, the Israelites are wearing studs, and the angels are wearing studs, and they're wearing those high boots because that was a custom of the nobility of Israel.
I am coming on here to speak the truth to all of the Christians who have been lied to. Sorry to bust your bubble, but Jesus is not white. All y'all have pictures of him on your walls, acting as if he's white. He ain't white. All the textbooks showing all the people in the Bible white, they ain't white. It's all a lie. All the white supremacy, all the white racist people changed it all to make it as if the white people rule the world. But Jesus is not white. Jesus is actually black. If you read in the Bible, his hair is like his wool. Only black people have wool. And if you read, he was a Galilean Jew. Back then, the Israelites, their origin were they were black. So all the people in the Bible that you know of, Noah, Jonah, Moses, Adam, all of them were black. All the people in the Bible were Israelites, and they were all black. And whenever
just want to make a quick note. The 144,000 of the Hebrews, they have their powers. And then you have the rest of the people in the kingdom, which are the saints of the Most High. They have their powers. They're changed into Christ's glorious image. And all people in the kingdom shall have spiritual power. That means that the people, the saints of the Most High, will be able to fly. They will be able to do the many things that Christ does in his body. Do you understand that when Christ said, their vile body shall be changed into my glorious body? The 144,000, they have their power, and the rest of the saints have their power. There's been a change, a great change in the dynamics of what's going on the planet Earth now. People are finding out that Christ was black. White people are finding out that Christ was black. Arabs are finding out that Christ was black. Africans are finding out that Christ was black. And what does it mean? And a lot of people talk about, well, what does it mean? We're going to find out that tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about the primordials. What did Trump mean when he said that the black man is primordial? Okay? And we're going to talk about the Balfour Declaration.
Years. This is what happened when the richest family in the world decided to create their own country. In 1917, the Rothschilds, the trillion-dollar family that invented modern-day banking, used their money, power, and influence to strike a secret deal with the British government. That deal eventually led to the creation of the country of Israel. But what makes this story more bizarre is the crazy personality of the man who orchestrated this deal, Lord Walter Rothschild. Walter Rothschild was an enigmatic mega-billionaire with so much money that instead of using horses to pull his carriage, he imported zebras from Africa just to show off. This same billionaire also had a super weird hobby of gathering insects and bugs, eventually amassing over 1 million butterflies, moths, and other insects. The Jews are some of the most intelligent, industrious people in the world. However, for years, the millions of Jews scattered around Europe had been trying to secure a large piece of land to start the country of Israel. But no matter how hard they tried, they got nothing. That was until they linked up with the super rich Walter Rothschild, a man who could change the world with the snap of his finger. By the early 1900s, the Rothschilds were already the most powerful family in Europe. They were so wealthy that they had even given loans to the entire country of France to stabilize the economy. However, aside from their power, the Rothschilds also had a reputation for being extremely ruthless. They wouldn't hesitate to wield their power as a weapon, to bulldoze through their enemies and crush anyone who opposed them. If the Rothschilds wanted something, they better get it, or they'd be hell to pay. Walter Rothschild made the calls he needed to make, pulled the strings he needed to pull, and in 1917, the British government sent Walter an official letter promising to do everything within their power to provide land for the creation of Israel. That letter redesigned the map of the world, and if you need proof, we have a copy of that letter.
The Balfour Declaration.
2nd, 1917. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet.
So it's possibly the most famous letter in modern Jewish history, and it begins with 3 words: Dear Lord Rothschild.
That letter, nicknamed the Balfour Declaration, is proof that it was the Rothschild family that created Israel. But there's even more evidence. In this interview, the head of the Rothschild family proudly explains how his ancestors created Israel. The interviewer begins by asking the question that was on everyone's mind.
Why was it that this letter was sent by the Foreign Secretary to your great-uncle Walter?
The reason is obvious, because it was the Rothschilds' money, power, and influence that made the British government fall in line. Years later, Britain kept their promise to the Rothschilds and provided a large piece of land to start Israel. And in May 1948, the State of Israel was officially created. Although this was good news.
And how did the so-called Jews get that land over there? And how did this chaos start? Well, let me tell you from the start, right? The so-called Jews and Esau are trying to usurp your blessing, Israel. They're trying to take over your blessing. They're trying to do the same thing that Jacob did to Esau, supplant him. They're trying to supplant you now. That's why the Jews, I met the so-called Edomite Jews, right, 50 years ago that said, we know you the Israelites, but you can't do nothing about it. And we can't do nothing about it now, but God is going to do something about it. See, they forgot God is in this. The so-called Jews said this. They said that God cannot stop them. They're wrestling with God like Jacob did, and God cannot stop them. He has to bless them and has to give them this land and has to give them the inheritance of Israel. How about that, man? Just hold on a second. Hold on a second, right? How about that, right? So let's get into this, right? Now, on that video, that clip that was played in the beginning, right, where Trump said that that the Israelites, the 144,000, are primordial. And what does that really mean? How does Trump know about your history in that way? Okay? Because his history is known, okay? Esau has history of you, and the nations have history of you. They saw you in your godlike powers. They saw Solomon in his godlike powers. They met David on the battlefield in his godlike powers. They read about Elijah leaving the earth in a fiery chariot, not even dying in the earth. They saw him in his godlike powers. They saw Samson in his godlike powers. So now, let's get into this, right? So Trump said that 144,000, and not only the 144,000, right, but all, we're going to show tonight that all Israel are the primordials, meaning ancient gods and goddesses. That's what primordial actually means. Ancient gods and goddesses, okay? In the terms of Trump, the way Trump is using it, that's what it means, okay? Let's go to it. Let's prove it, right? Let's go to the Psalms, right? Psalms 82 and 6, right? I have said that ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. When God said that, see, the mistake we made is asking for a king. That's the mistake we made. When God said, I was your king. If we'd have let God be our king, man, our enemies would have been wiped out. They would have been done. We would have been in the kingdom already. If we'd have let God be our king. That was a major mistake we made. That was it right there, right at that crossroad, brother. So now, but now, we should have learned our lesson. We supposed to have learned our lesson. And a lot of us have learned our lesson, okay? That God is God Almighty, and He's God of Israel. And He's not relinquishing those duties that He promised our forefathers to be your God and to raise you up. Okay, now, so I want to, let's get into this, right? So, God said, also in the New Testament, in the book of John, John, the 10th chapter, the 34th and 35th verse. Jesus answered them, "It is not written in your law, I said that ye are gods. If he called them gods unto whom the word of God came, and the scriptures cannot be broken." Meaning Christ is showing Israel that they were gods, and the purpose of them was to become the gods. I said you are gods, meaning God said that you were gods. It's not, he said it's not written in your law, meaning the law that we gave you, right? I said that you were gods in the ancient world, okay? That Israelites were gods. Some people stepped into their godship, and some people never knew it, man. They were the Pharisees and all these ignorant type spirits out there. They never knew what the godship was. You had them envying and hating David. David was in his godship. Solomon was in his godship. Samuel was in his godship. Elijah was in his godship. You see that? So they didn't step into it. If they'd have stepped into it, they'd have been a powerful, terrible, they'd have been undefeated. And if they had chose God for their God, we'd have been undefeated. Now, but Christ came back now because the promises was made before the foundation of the world, and the battle in heaven with Satan was all about Satan accusing Israel and trying to bring Israel down from what God had established for them as for them to be gods. So this time, at the return of Christ this time, you're going to be gods. You're going to have to feel wonderful and mighty and strong, and you're going to all have spiritual power. All the angels in heaven, no matter from the least to the greatest, have spiritual power. Okay, they all have that power. Okay, and they all have eternal life. So, and they all feel brilliant. They feel great, man. Okay, wonderful. So now the other part about God saying that you were gods in the Old Testament and the New Testament, meaning that when God said you are God, what did he really mean? That means that you're going to live the life of the gods. That's what it means. Okay? That means that you're going to enjoy what they enjoy. Christ said, I will show you that the Father loved me like he loved you. Meaning that the heaven is way out, man, far out. God is not like man, some man arguing on the corner with somebody, or some man arguing. He's not like that at all. God is all powerful and mighty, man, and producing and creating everything that he wants to create, man. There are worlds and heavens beyond, man, that man can't even comprehend. But when God brings us into the body of the gods, then we go understand. Then we shall know what God meant, okay? When he chose Israel. He chose Israel to make Israel gods. He chose a male to make him a god. He chose a female to make her a goddess. And you women of Israel, you must understand that. You were made to be gods. So, understand that. You men of Israel, understand that you were created to be gods, man, and to live the life of gods. And this time you're going to live the life of the gods. In the resurrection of Israel, you're going to live the life of the gods. Okay, now, so let me read on. People ask, what does it matter what color Christ was? So we got to deal with this, right? Because this is all over the internet, it's all over the TV. People are talking, and people are trying to shoot down Israelites that don't know the scriptures right and can't prove things right. But we're here tonight to prove things, okay? Because in this place here, we know the scriptures, okay? So we're going to prove, right, the scriptures. So let's deal with it. People ask, what does it matter what color Christ was? Because he was born in a particular nation in Israel. And the reason that the matter is because you punish Christ's people. Christ is, he's the captain of the host of the armies of Israel. You punish the children of God. So that means that God is going to fight against you now. That's why it matters. Now you understand? Because you got God coming against you, Esau, and the world. And look at all the floods and all the floods and the warfare that's going on the earth today is because of Israel. You've been whipped with tornadoes, floodings, and it's going on all over the world, on all continents as we speak, right? The flooding, the drowning, the killing, the hurricanes, the volcano eruptions. There was earthquakes this week in Mexico and in different parts of the world, right? Just this week. All over the world, flooding, drowning in Europe, in France, in Germany, in America. America was hit 16 straight days with tornadoes that blew away American homes. Some people were killed. Flooding everywhere on the 7 continents of the world. This is going on 24 hours a day. Do you see what's happening in India, in South Korea, London, England, Germany, France? All the European countries are being hit by these major storms that are just devastating them and flooding them out and flooding their businesses and flooding their homes. They're being flooded out. Their homes are being destroyed by tornadoes. Vicious tornadoes are rising all over the planet and are destroying these people. Major lightning strikes all over the world. Flooding all over the world. This is going on. All over the world, this is going on 24/7, every day. Somewhere on the planet, this is going on. And it's going on in America. America's being hit by tornadoes, devastating tornadoes that are destroying people's homes. People are praying, man. They're worried about this type of warfare that's sent against them. So God said the elements in the world shall fight against you. Well, it's fighting them. Hurricanes coming in America, leveling people's houses, destroying them. Also, all over the world. The same thing is going on that you see in America is going on all over the world. Okay? So the Most High is fighting against your enemies, Israel. Okay? This fight is about you. And you see, that's why you got to suit up, get into it, okay? We missed it the first time when Christ said you were gods. We didn't get into it. We were arguing and fighting and this and that and that type of base spirit, right? That's why we lost the kingdom. But this time, okay, we're going to be restored into the godship, and we're going to be given the spirit of Christ this time, where you can't make no mistakes. You can't falter no more. Okay? So now, that's what God meant when he said, I chose you. I chose you to be a God. I chose you to live the life of gods. That's what the chosen was all about. Okay, now, so let's read on, right? Because he was born in a particular nation of Israel. Now, we're going to read who Christ chose. So we got to get that out of the way too, because they're arguing on the internet, they're arguing all over the world about this issue, who are the chosen. We're going to prove who the chosen are. Isaiah 44:1. Yet hear now, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel whom I have chosen. See, Israel are the chosen, okay? Chosen for what? Chosen is what Trump said, to become primordial, to become the gods. That's what you're chosen for, okay? Now, Isaiah 44:2. Thus said the Lord that made thee, and formed thee from the womb, which will help thee. Fear not, O Jacob, my servant, and Jerusalem, whom I have chosen. Talk about all the Israelites are chosen by God. Now let's deal with Christ. Christ was born in Israel, the same nation as David and Solomon. Christ was of the tribe of Judah. Hebrews 7:14. He was of the tribe of Judah. And then in the book of Matthew, right, the first chapter and the first verse, it runs Christ's genealogy all the way through David them, all the way through Abraham them, all the way through Noah, all the way back to Adam. To show you this was a line of Judites. Okay? So you see that? And a lot of people don't like that, but it was a line of Judites. We don't care what they like, okay? It was a line of Judites because it said he was born in Judah. Okay? And everybody came out of the waters of Judah. You can't get around that. Everybody was born out of the waters of Judah. Okay? Adam and Eve was Judah. Because everybody was born out of them. Out of them came everybody. Out of Adam and Eve came everybody. Okay? So now, let's look at Solomon, right? The Song of Solomon, the first chapter and the 5th verse. Now Solomon was the son of David. And if Christ came through Solomon in David's line, let's read what color he was. I am black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem. You see that? Solomon was black but comely means he was black but handsome. He's a very handsome cat. So you understand, right? So Esau, we're going to lay out the facts to you tonight, and we know you're going to fight against it because your program is to deny all of this and to never concede the power or never concede to God. That's why God said, we shall take the kingdom from you. The kingdom shall be taken from you. Daniel, 7th chapter. The kingdom shall be taken. It has to be taken because he's not going to relinquish power. It has to be taken from him. He's not going to acknowledge you, Israel. You got to take it from him. The so-called Jews, no, they Jews and yeah, no, you got to take it from them. Okay, that's where this is at. And God said Judah shall fight at Jerusalem. So we're looking for that day that Judah shall fight at Jerusalem. So now Solomon said, I'm black but comely, O you daughters of Jerusalem. Now let's read, Christ was born in the tribe of Judah. Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish, they are black unto the ground. They are black people. In other words, the Bible speaks in many different ways. Sometimes it says ruddy, and sometimes it says black, and Solomon telling you that what color he was. He was black. Okay? Christ came out of that line of Solomon and David. Okay? Now, the salvation to the Jews, Romans 1:16. Okay? So who is the salvation for? The salvation is for the Jews. So let's read it, okay? For I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. For, excuse me, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believeth. To the Jew first, meaning it's to the Jew first, to Israel first. That's to the Jew first. That means you have to get in line behind the Jews, the real Jews. Okay? To the Jew first, and also to the Greek, and then to the Greek. Okay? You're not first in the kingdom, Esau. Judah is first in the kingdom. Israel is first in the kingdom. Okay? And a lot of you Gentile Edomites are going to be destroyed because of what you did to Israel. Now you got to deal with what you did to Israel, and God is going to destroy you for what you did to Israel. Now let's look close at this case. Let's see what God said about Esau and Jacob. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter, and I'm going to start at the 15th verse, right? And maketh an everlasting covenant with him, promising him that thou wouldst never forsake his seed. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. Okay? As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee and put by Esau. End of argument. That's the end of this discussion. This argument, what you're arguing on YouTube and arguing all over the place for, that's it. You were put by. But you're not of the majesty of Jacob. No, you're not going to wear his crown. you took temporarily earthly things, but you can't take his heavenly things. No, you can't take his heavenly things. Nobody can take his heavenly things. Okay? Let me read that again. This is 2nd Ezra, the 3rd chapter, and the 16th verse. And unto him that gaveth Isaac, and Isaac also, and unto Isaac also thou gave Jacob and Esau. This is where the battle is at between Jacob and Esau, and the battle is over. The kingdom, the power of that kingdom, the godship of that kingdom, of you being gods. Esau want to be first. He want to get there first. He want to beat you to it. So they figured out all these ways to beat you to the kingdom, to the godship. We'll become Jews. We can beat them there. They sinned against God. God put by them, and God is not dealing with them anymore. But God tells you that he will never forsake Israel, and he's going to redeem, tell Israel, I redeemed him. God is not put by, and that's why they're running so. God is not put by the Israelites. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee, and put by Esau. So Jacob became a great multitude. So that's the answer to your question about Jacob and Esau. Esau was put by. So Esau, you're running in vain. So everything you're doing in vain. And we're going to talk about the Balfour Declaration for a moment, right? Arthur Balfour, he was a prime minister of England in 1902 and 1905, right? And he wrote a letter to the Jewish people. The Balfour Declaration came from a man, an Edomite, that wrote this letter that was called the Balfour Declaration. It was named after his name. And he wrote the letter showing them that the British is going to honor what they promised them, and they're going to give them the land of Palestine, the land of Israel. They're going to give them that land. England was the one that was behind that. And the Rothschilds, you'll see the video that I did about the Rothschilds on that. The Rothschilds financed it, supported it, and established them in that land there. So there are a bunch of Edomites, a bunch of phony people that thinking that they can co-opt Israel and get Israel's blessing. It's not going to happen. You see that? So now, I want to talk about, there's something I want to talk about, right? I want to, J. Edgar Hoover. So, see, the other part of this is about J. Edgar Hoover. J. Edgar Hoover had a plan, and he was set up by the federal government of the United States. J. Edgar Hoover was... J. Edgar Hoover was the head of the FBI from 1924 to 1972. He's the one that came up against Martin Luther King. And the United States government had Martin Luther King killed because they saw, well, let's just read it. Let's read it. I'll read it for you, okay? Preventing the rise of a black Messiah. That's what they were working on, this from the inception, from the days that Israel was destroyed, 70 AD. They've always been looking for this Messiah to come, and they're ready to kill him. That you never rise again, Israel. That you never rise again. That's why Martin Luther King was killed. Okay? A lot of people say a lot of things about Martin Luther King, but He did have the Bible in his hand. He did approach the man with the word. So he did die. And they killed him. Okay? And they told him they was going to kill him. They wrote him a letter, right? He got a letter in the mail telling him to kill himself. A lot of people don't know that. The FBI, the United States government, threatened this man like that. Okay? But there are people that was in that movement that know this. Okay? Now, preventing the rise of a black messiah. J. Edgar Hoover issued another directive preventing the rise of a black messiah who would unify, electrify the black nationalist movement. See that? Esau has been cutting you off, and he's cutting you off. So they took all the religious rights from you. They took your Jewish name from you. They took all that from you to cut you off. That's what this is all about. So you understand, right? Okay? Those people over there, those so-called Jews, they know what they're doing. Okay? And the Christians, they know what they're doing. Because the Christians were the Ku Klux Klan before. Yeah, the evangelicals were the Ku Klux Klan before. Okay? So now, so what do you think they are now? They got into politics, they got into, they're trying to juggle with that money, and while Israel was steady marching on, protesting, and dealing with the affairs of this evil regime. But so you understand that the Christian churches in America were the KKK. Okay, now, so Hoover prevent the rise of a black messiah. Meaning this, any man that stood up for Israel and tried to help Israel and tried to bring Israel back to their power, what they're worried about, Trump spoke it, right? He's a real radical cat, right? That's what they're worried about. You getting your powers back again. They know about your powers, man. And Trump used a word, man. Can you imagine what these Edomites said when he dropped that? He used the word primordial. He used the word 144,000. Primordial, meaning ancient gods and goddesses are coming back. That they ain't the same Israelites that they killed in 70 AD are coming back. Okay? Primordial. Isn't that something? So Israel, now you know who you are. You are the gods waiting for the king. That's who you are. You're the gods and goddesses. That's who you are. And that's why Christ said you should be a nation of kings and priests, because meaning in the heavenly world, not the earthly world, man, with these ignorant people here. No, not that, man. No, in the heavenly world where wisdom and love is the illumination of all things, man. Where women are treated in a beautiful way, where men are treated in a beautiful way, in a marvelous way. You can't come into no kingdom with no evil eye, with no brother in the kingdom, man. No, that you will never get into the gate of the kingdom of God with that. You see that? It's where beautiful people are, where God's going to beautify you and beautify all the women. You know what happened to you? He's going to beautify all of you, man. You're going to beautify, and the women are going to be out of sight. You're going to be the Israelite women are going to be the most beautiful women on the planet in the world. Okay, and the Israelite men are going to be the most handsome, the most strongest, the most sought after. God said, "You shall be a city sought after." Okay, people are going to be trying to get all in you into who you are, man, and you're going to have that magical power, right? Meaning this, that magical spirit, man, that you know you're beautiful, you know you're wonderful. You're going to have that spirit as a beautiful thing, what God did, ain't it? So let's look at this, right? So J. Edgar Hoover set up Martin Luther King to be killed. Okay? Let's read it. J. Edgar Hoover issued directives in the counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO. The COINTELPRO, right? It was started because of Martin Luther King, okay, and those and the black movement in that time, right? And they were looking at the Black Panthers and all these other groups that was in America. They were looking at the Muslims, and they were trying to get people. See, God said that you are gods, right? So when people turn on you, right, that means that God is going to step in and deliver you. They're not going to be able to do what Hoover did to you this time. That's what I mean. They're not going to be able to do what Hoover did in that world. Because when you go on and check the history, Hoover, the FBI attacked the Black Panthers and attacked these groups, the Muslims, and attacked the people in the civil rights movement, attacked them in their homes, man, killed them. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people were killed in the Hoover movement. Okay, so now, J. Edgar Hoover issued a directive in a counterintelligence program, COINTELPRO, to spy on, gather information, and discredit those associated with civil rights movement and discredited Martin Luther King. See that? And it's a satanic power. It's a satanic power. Satan is using men to discredit men. Okay? And God sees exactly what's going on. And He's going to deal with this. Okay? Anybody that discredited an Israelite and didn't repent, he's going to be dealt with. Okay? And anybody that discredited an Israelite sister and didn't repent, you're going to be dealt with. That's where it's at. That's where this is at. Okay? So now, I just wanted to show that, right? And to deal with these questions about why does it matter? And it matters because Christ was born in Israel. He was a black man, and He's going to save Israel from their enemies. He's the one that's going to break the battle with you, Esau. He's the one that's going to fight for the black man. That's why it's important, because he was a black man. The Romans killed him. Yeah, the Israelites say kill him and let his blood be on us and our children. That was a terrible statement they made, but the Romans put him to death. But Christ forgave them that killed him on the cross. He said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they do. Okay? Because, you know, because God, a man cannot understand a God, man. Okay? Man only understands earthly things. You see that? And he responds in the spirit of an earthly man. He don't understand that, you know, what a God is in that realm. But He's going to come to that, okay? So, tonight, Israel, you got to remember that you're going to become gods. You were always gods, but you didn't know it. You didn't step into it. We didn't step into it. Let's put it that way. Okay? So this time, look for, you know what you're being resurrected for. You're being resurrected to be gods and goddesses and to live the life of a god on the highest level of life, the highest power, dealing with power, man. Real power, not this power Esau dealing with. He got to tinker with technology, and his technology is crashing. The planes are crashing. The cars are crashing. God ain't bringing you into no world like that. Ain't nothing in your world gonna crash, and it ain't gonna be no problems, period, in the world that you going into. Yeah. So I'm gonna say grace and peace to all the brothers and sisters tonight, right? And grace and peace to Israel, and remember Israel. Trump opened the door, man. He said you're primordial, man. I've been trying to teach this for years, right? That we are gods, man, and you're gonna become gods this time. So you got to be in the consciousness what the resurrection is all about. It's all about you becoming a god. It's all about you living like the gods. Grace and peace.